Oh no, what are we doing with this piece of crap and all this junk? Well, today I'm gonna make the Schwinn that I could never afford when I was a kid, out of the Schwinn that Trump bought me when we got our stimulus checks a few years back. So this is some piece of crap $200 mountain bike I got from a local bike shop a few years ago, and it's made out of steel. And I've been holding on to this frame because I kind of wanted to do something crazy with it, and I decided today that today's the day, and I'm gonna hack some stuff up, and we're gonna turn this into a little chopper bike. I'm not adding no engine or nothing crazy like that. I'm just literally it's just gonna be a pedal bike. I'm probably keeping the gear train and everything still, but we are gonna have a front suspension fork and also a disc brake, so it should look pretty sick. I have to hack this thing off a little bit because I want to change the angle of the head tube, because I want it to have that rake like those West Coast choppers do. Because it's going to have a small tire in the back and a big tire in the front, and then probably some type of different seat if I can get my hands on one. But yeah, let's get hacking, and I'll show you what I got in mind. Alright, so we removed two little guys from the frame. Aren't they adorable? It's like those little stick figure families you see on the back of those crappy SUVs. Anyway, I can feel the structural integrity of the chat, like, it's probably worse than this right now. Anyway, jokes aside, this will be fine. I didn't cut all the way through the bottom, so, you know, there's still some original metal there. And I'm going to weld the absolute dog tits out of this, so... And don't worry, I didn't cut through the steering tube in there. That's just, oh, bonk. Yeah, see this? It still works. This fork's getting pulled out anyway, but... Yeah, that's about the angle we're looking for. That should be good. Because we're going to have a 26-inch on the rear and a 29-inch tire on the front. That should give it a very good chopper stance. Perfect. Let me get to tack welding this piece of crap up, and then I'm probably going to have to reinforce it with some sort of other metal. Oh no, you ruined the triangle on the frame with those cuts. You didn't measure it. Yeah, okay, bud.
What you doing?
Hacking up a bike that I had laying around, see if I can have some fun with it.
Yeah, I just need to put the blue one back together. Make it a Cadillac again. It was riding race, it had the race colors on it.
Yeah, we'll make one of those, you remember those Schwinn Stingray chopper bikes they had when I was growing up? Well, I never had one of them, so I'm fucking building one.
Putting the forks on the front?
Yeah.
We used to see how many we could put on. One you got up to about 8 or something, and they couldn't ride no more.
Little plate reinforcement here, and I think it'll be good. Question is, which piece of scrap metal do I take? Scrap metal galore around this motherfucker. What we got? Nothing over here looks very usable. This is all crap. This is more the wood pile. Let's walk over back this way. I got some thick exhaust steel around here somewhere. Yeah. That about the same thickness. To be fair, it's not going to be the frame, it's just bracing the frame, so. Yeah, look at that. Catching that thickness there. I'd say we got a match. So, plan. Just kind of something like that. Just something like that to brace it. You know. On both sides. Maybe I even, I can even like take it and bend it over like that. That's an option too. Just take it and like bend it over this way. And then, yeah, then it'll brace it a lot better if I weld it to the front too. All right, well, let me pause and we'll see what I come up with. So the janky welding setup here is kind of working, except a piece kind of got through my my leg here. A piece of welding rod got in there and just kind of ping-pong balled around and burnt the crap out of my thighs and my butt. But anyway, so we got this going. It ain't party, but it ain't supposed to be, because this is like some type of what they would call like a rat ride bicycle. And it can just look however it want to look for now. So, like, if you got any problems, you can report me to the welding police. See that? See that right there? I think that's a crime against, like humanity or something. So, like, please go ahead and send that to somebody and get like, the authorities here, because they need to take my welder. So, I got to steal the old headset off of here, because I just cooked the bearings welding to this thing. So, let me do that. I'll slap that on. We'll get some tires on it, and then we'll see what this beast looks like. All right, so it's the next day. It got cold and rainy, but we did some more welding. I liked how that came out, but then when I put it together and sat on it, I realized the pedal to seat distance was jacked up and did not feel like sitting on an OG Schwinn Stingray from the mid-thousands. I shouldn't say OG, the Stingray started in like the 80s, but the one I grew up with was the one with the big fat tire, looked like a West Coast Choppers one. I think they're the ones who inspired it or whatever. Anyway, so here we have, I took a fork. That was an old Schwinn fork that was on this bike, and that was some fork off of some other bike. They're both pretty good steel, so we'd put those on there. I was kind of hoping to get the bends of that other fork to like kind of match up with that, but I ended up having to put pieces of metal from the old fork over that to brace it, and kind of, because it didn't line up right, and I was trying really hard not to ruin the rear axle spacing, which I succeeded at. I also succeeded at getting the wheel centered. I mean, it might be off by a millimeter or two, but that's not a big deal. Anyway, I think I'm pretty proud of that. Next thing we got to do is, I got some random bits, pieces. We got a fender here to put on, a couple handlebars to try to choose from. I'm going to see about welding up a seat bracket right now. I really like how this came out too. This kind of got that, if you've seen any old school chopper, like panhead, flathead type things, knuckleheads, all those things. I've seen some frames that kind of look like that, so I thought it was I was staring at these forks and thought that was a good idea. But anyway, let's get to it. All right, so update. I got new bottom bracket kind of area reinforced here. Some sheet metal, because it was kind of janky down there. I just kind of welded a fork in place, you know, of the old stuff. Anyway, we got the seat post mounted. I had this connecting rod I found on the side of the road many years ago, and I don't know why I kept it. I guess I'm a hoarder, but anyway, we've welded this to the frame and flipped that over, and it's got a little seat bracket on it, so we should be able to mount that thing. What a piece of crap. Alright, so I've been trying out different things for a seat bracket here. That was a dumb idea. This is what I wanted the seat bracket to be, so we're just going to kind of go with this since it's already connected horribly. Anyway, this is, what do we got? Piece of tubing. Oh, yeah, this thing. So this is like a regular bike seat post thing, you know? Goes in here and then it gets sandwiched on. And yeah, here we got a piece of pipe. That's a decent thickness. For some reason it tapers down, so I'm gonna hack it in half. Weld that right on top of there. Weld this to that, and then we have a seat post. Now for this, I want the suspension to work still, just because this bike has none. So I got this bracket here, and I'm gonna kind of like weld it to the springs, and then weld this to that, and then that way the pistons there will be able to move. So hopefully we have a functioning spring seat in about now. All right, well, we got it going. We got that welded on. I kind of like beat it out with a hammer to give it like the ducktail look. We got the seat welded in. It's all terrible, but you know what? People on the internet love to say, oh, those welds don't look like they penetrated. But like when you're sitting here melting the rod into the metal and you literally see it flow into each other, I really don't know how someone can say from a picture that it's not connected. Like, maybe it's not a perfect weld because I don't do this for a living. I'm using a $200 welder from Harbor Freight and I'm outside in the elements, so it is what it is. You know what? It's just a project I wanted to do. So I know it's dirty because I over welded so much of it, but anyway, I'm sure somebody will have something to say about that. But the way I see it is, if you don't like a restaurant, why are you gonna go back and eat there or like order more food? You're gonna leave and go somewhere else, right? So why go to somebody's channel or look at someone's content on the internet and complain to them that you don't like it? Just like move along and enjoy your life, right? That's the way I see it. Let's wait for this to dry, and then I'll show you what color I got picked out for it. So I got this tester piece here. I kind of like where this is going. We got this, this Bear, what is this? Ocean Abyss? Yeah, Bear Ocean Abyss with some Rust-Oleum Oasis Blue. Those names sound fairly similar, which is cool because they look really good on top of each other. Spritz a little bit of the light blue on top of that green, and maybe a little bit of white. I got a little bit of white dusting on here. I think I'm going to do the white dusting first and then do the blue on top of it, trying to keep the white dusting light because it really gives it like a metallic flake kind of look, even though it's just rattle can. So I'm happy with that. What I'm not happy with is the paint cracking. I may have layered on a little too heavy in some of these spots, trying to hide my terrible weld so the world doesn't make fun of me. But anyway, it's cold out here, and I didn't have enough blowtorch gas to kind of like preheat the surface. So when you do too heavy of a coat in the cold, it's less forgiving for how heavy of a coat you can do, and it usually cracks like that when it dries. So I'm going to just cut it there because I did get the bike put together and I did take it for a test ride, and it was the most uncomfortable thing I've ever ridden in my life. So there's a new plan, and it involves 2 Briggs & Stratton engines and more terrible welding. So stay tuned, like, subscribe, comment, share, and don't forget to put your glizzies in the sink.